We have David in Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan. Go ahead, David.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
David, last time you were on, you recommended Granite Real Estate. I was wondering if you still hold it and if you still like it. Thanks.
Sure. David, certainly the REITs have been a great place to be over the last couple of years, and they've pulled back a little in the last couple of weeks. They fit right into the core theme in our portfolios currently, which is sustainable dividend growth. Granite is in a position, they're only paying out about 75% of their cash flow, in a position to bump what they're paying out as we go forward here. I would look for opportunities as we go along here to be adding to these REITs and to be adding to the midstream energy infrastructure companies. I think that everything has some vulnerability in the current market, but the natural theme in the market is yield. And I think that Granite fits perfectly into that theme. So, no, we certainly hold the stock. It's one of our bigger holdings, and would expect it to continue to perform very well on a relative basis.
Next up is Jim. He's in Hamilton, Ontario. Hi, Jim.
Hey, guys. How are you? David,
Good.
My question's on DuPont, DD. It's dropped about 8 points since its last quarter released. Have you been looking at this at all, and is this something you might start nibbling at?
Yeah, you know, the market was disappointed with the most recent quarter. The kind of market that we're in right now has very little tolerance for bad news. Just as an aside, this is something that you should watch. When you're in a market where the market takes most news and looks at it in a negative light, you're in a tougher market. And certainly we're in a market where the market is synthesizing news and making it bad news. The chemicals group as a whole has been a group that's performed quite well, and specifically it's been because of the low cost of natural gas in North America and the fact that this makes them extremely competitive against chemical companies operating in other parts of the world. But DuPont is more of a global player, and it does have a big agricultural bent, and of course agriculture has been tougher. So I think given the fact that near-term results have been weak, and given the fact that it's one of the weaker performers in the group, I would steer clear. And I would look more at something like a Lyondell, which really benefits from the low cost of gas and paid out a special dividend today. LYB is a symbol in New York. And one that really, I think, has a bit of the wind at its back. But again, to everything we're going to talk about tonight, I want to take it with a grain of salt that I do think that there's near-term risk in the market currently.
And you hold Lyondell?
We do.
Okay, it's got a yield of 3.5%. Here's John. He's in Richmond Hill, Ontario. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. I just want to ask Dave about what's his favorite stock between Dell Computer and Bank of America? Thank you.
Or neither.
Well, that's not a hard one. That's not a hard one. I have to tell you, I wouldn't touch Dell with a 10-foot pole. I think you want to be very careful in the PC space, and certainly for them also in the server space. All you have to do is watch how Intel and AMD are trading to get a sense for the views on that group, and Hewlett-Packard. But Bank of America is an interesting one. The U.S. banks, I think, have done a pretty good job of recapitalizing their balance sheets. I don't expect to see tremendous growth coming from the group, but certainly Bank of America is a beneficiary if this recovery in housing continues.
So do you find it unusual the stock was up today on another down day in the market?
Well, I think that as we go through another round of stress tests, there is a possibility you're going to see another round of dividend hikes. So I think that this is sort of positively impacting the group. And there's some defensive characteristics here. So the financials were one of the strongest performing parts of the market today. We do have some U.S. bank financials, but really that's the extent of our financials exposure.
Give us a couple of names that you hold.
Well, we've got some Bank of America, we've got some Citigroup, and we've got some Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo, okay. So does Warren Buffett. We'll take a short break here with David Burrows. We are coming right back, and we're going to take a look at his past picks after this.
Introducing Johnny Walker Gold Label